Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Disney Classics podcast. This show where we love talking about the Disney canon. And we are talking about the songs from one of our favorite movies and I guess you say franchises in the Disney world. We are talking about Beauty and the Beast. And it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Of course, we're talking about the Broadway. We're talking about the original film, talking about the sequel. Well, midquels. They're all
Yeah, they're
midquels
both midquels. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and the remake. So a high degree of quality going on here.
It varies, doesn't it? It goes from
Yeah,
kind of like rock bottom to, yeah, but then to like the best of the best.
but I would say across the board, all well sung. I mean, when you got Paige
Yes.
O'Hara and Robbie Benson and doing a
And
lot of these songs, you
Bernadette Peters. I mean,
Bernadette
hello.
Peters, Tim Curry. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really not a bad singer, I don't think, in this group.
Agree. Absolutely agree. It's
Yeah.
just, I think it's the quality of the songs and then also just the horrific context of where the songs come from. So anyway, we'll get to that.
Yes, but also I would say that the Broadway musical is special.
I like the Broadway musical a lot too.
I absolutely love it. And it's my favorite. But part of that is nostalgia as far as Disney musicals.
Well, didn't you get to see with your grandmother, Rachel? Wasn't that?
Yes.
Yeah. How
So
cool is that?
yeah, in 2000, I did a trip with my grandma and my cousin, and we were there at Christmas. We saw the Rockettes, which is the whole reason we were able to convince my grandma to take us was because we're like, we'll go see the Rockettes because my grandma loved the Rockettes. And so we planned, my cousin and I, cousin Lisa, we planned this trip, and we saw Music Man, we saw the Rockettes, and we saw Beauty and the Beast. And all three of those are just like super special to me,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
because they're both gone. My grandma and my cousin are both,
Oh my goodness, Rach. Yeah.
yeah. And so they're both have a lot of nostalgia. But I think even without that nostalgia, it's a really good musical.
I agree. Um thanks for sharing that again. I just that's wonderful. And again, my condolences that both of you loved ones are no longer here.
Yeah.
But what wonderful memories, and
Yeah.
what special shows you got to see.
Yeah, it's really special too because the Music Man that we saw had Rebecca Luker, and she's passed
Wow, and
away.
she's gone too. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
Who
just a
played
lot of
Harold Hill in that
Craig
production?
Bierko is his
Oh
name.
yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so it was just really,
Wonder.
really
Oh, I bet
special.
that was a great production. Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
and of course, I have a ton of nostalgia for the original film. It's, I mean, The Little Mermaid was my first love. uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it, but I also loved Beauty and the Beast. It is very special.
But yeah, it's my favorite film from Walt Disney Animation Studios,
Yeah.
and I do too. I love it. I revere it, and I think the music's brilliant. So this has just been such a fun thing. And
Yeah.
I think part of the advantage of the with the Broadway show is that Alan Menken was involved, right?
Yeah.
So that just made it special. Again, too bad that Howard Ashman, wasn't,
Yeah.
or I think that it would be
This-
even elevated
yeah.
more. But still, I think that the stage play is terrific, and um, it's the midquels that I've got
Yeah.
issues with, but we'll
I guess I
yeah.
forgot to say that when we were talking about how all the singing is good, that was not including the remake. Horrible singing.
The auto tune.
Although I genuinely do like some of those songs. They are
Oh,
very
I do
pretty, I
too.
think.
I do too. Absolutely.
But
Uh,
I,
but
I'm not sure why they felt the need to write new songs for the remake. I can understand one, maybe just to get in the Oscars when you've got all these great Broadway songs. Like why I like You'll See Where I Have It. I have it pretty high, Evermore. But why when you have If I Can't Love Her ready to go, I don't really understand why they felt a need to write a new song, but
Instead of I can't
you
love if
know,
I can't love her. Yeah,
when you've got it right there,
yeah, yeah, I agree. Although Evermore, I I, I love it.
you'll
I have it
see I do
high.
have it high. I do have it high.
Yeah, we'll
But
go there.
that also gets the Josh Groban bump
Oh my
because he
stars.
sang that song.
His recording of it is just
Yeah,
primo.
not only on the movie soundtrack, and I think in the credits, but also in that concert.
Oh, that wonderful concert they
Yeah,
did with that with
they
her.
did. Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was
was really good.
really good. And
Yeah,
again, such a shock. I know we had talked about this, but that was such a shock because it was so good. That it
yeah,
wasn't just some trashy thing that they put together. That
yeah.
I felt like it was so respectful of the animated film, which again Disney doesn't know how to do anymore.
Right. And they even
Yeah,
had the animators come onto the stage
yeah, it
and
was
animate,
lovely.
that was really cool. And
Uh,
I mean, what do you think it is that made that 1991 film? Why do you think it is so timeless and is so special?
I think multiple reasons, but first off, I feel like Disney was just kind of building back to itself. I mean, hello, it was the Renaissance, right?
Yeah.
And and The Little Mermaid was so great and such a knockout and so fresh and new, yet such a blast from the past in a way too. And I mean that in the best sense of the word.
Yeah.
And just like, oh my gosh, these animated fairy tales truly are magic, and Disney knows how to do them. And then, of course, you get Howard Menken and excuse me, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken involved,
Yeah.
and brilliant. So I think The Little Mermaid set the stage, and then Beauty and the Beast just like hit it home. And not some. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both so excellent. You know, I think too. There's something special about the love story in Beauty and the Beast that so many people I think can relate to.
Mm.
Um, and that makes and then just the music is just next level. Again, the
Yeah.
music's fantastic in Little Mermaid, but the music in Beauty and the Beast just there is just something extra about it.
I think it is special. The idea of the beauty is found within, that two kind of lost souls who aren't understood by the world around them is special, and such great songs. And I do think that the fact that they basically made this movie very quickly out of a Holiday Inn in
And
upstate New York, to so that Howard Ashman could be involved on his deathbed.
yeah,
He died before it even came out, and if I knew that somebody I loved was doing that, I'd want it to be the best. Like I
yeah,
would just think that that would inspire the best of work,
yeah.
and I think it did.
I do too. I think too, again, the animators hit a home run because the art direction is so good in this film. I think that, just the character designs, just how beautiful the animation is, how what a knockout that ballroom scene was at the time.
Yeah.
In fact, it still
Mhm.
is really did.
Yeah.
It's dazzling, but
Yeah.
back in 91,
True.
we hadn't seen anything like it before. Just,
Yeah.
like hand-drawn animation blended into this CGI environment. I just remember just kind of like jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
Um, I think too they cast it perfectly. Paige O'Hara is brilliant. Uh, so is Robbie Benson, but then also these great Broadway stars
Yeah.
like um, I mean, Angela Lansbury, of course. I mean, she's the star of stage and screen, right? But everybody,
Yeah.
David
Oh,
August
and
Stiers
yeah,
and
Jerry Orbach.
Gary Orbach. I mean, come on.
There was a D23, or I can't remember if it's D23 or Fan X was one of them. Robbie Benson was saying that one time he was at like a grocery store or someplace like that, and he lost his temper, and he was like, "Don't go over there," or whatever, just something loud, and everybody is like looking like, "Oh my
The beast
yeah,
incarnate.
go ahead and stop." which is hilarious. But
But
yeah, great voice cast and
yeah.
just so charming. I think that's why the remake was so discouraging. And I famously did a whole video on this channel of my 1 hour long nitpicky complaints about remake.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rachel. I mean, and
and
so well
just
deserved. I
so
mean, that
many things that were
remake
so frustrating. And
was so
I don't
disgusting to me. I
know,
get sick just thinking about it.
there I like I might like the Christmas sequel better than that. I mean, I really I just absolutely, because at least it's a Christmas movie, and you know I'm about Christmas movies.
Yeah,
I really hate that remake.
I do too. I saw it once and I
Absolutely.
hope I never ever have to see it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And I think too, again, made me so sad that they didn't hire good singers. And
Like if I were Emma Watson, I would have insisted upon it. I'm not
yeah,
doing the part unless they promise they will.
yeah,
I'm not taking the role.
yeah.
Honestly, it was it was bad. And at least like in other movies where there's bad singers, usually it's kind of like fairly equal in the quality of, like in Mamma Mia, for instance. Like, yes, Pierce Brosnan is the worst, but like they're all kind of like nobody's like amazing,
No
right?
one is great.
They're
Yeah.
all like
And
fine, and it's just like a fun movie, so nobody cares.
yeah, right.
Whereas like hers stood out so much because she's surrounded by all these background singers and someone like an Audra McDonald,
Audra McDonald
you know,
sings
like
the intro to it. I mean,
people
holy
that
cow.
actually know how to sing. And so hers, it made it sound even worse because you're just like, why is this auto-tuned, weird sounding person here? Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Eh,
It's
I
yeah.
just the whole thing, and I hated the production design so much. I thought just the objects looked
I
terrible,
agree.
and
Yeah.
just
Oh, I hated that too.
it was
Yeah.
so. I think I had a we've both been able to talk to Steven Anderson, who's director
Yeah.
at Disney. He was recently on my podcast, my Movies Matt Past and Present podcast, talking about his book, um,
Oh, yeah.
that Disney In Between book
Uh-huh.
that he wrote. But we also talked a little bit about, this egregious practice of live action remakes and
Oh, I gotta
live
listen to
action
that.
in quotes. I'm saying, you can't see my quote marks, but gestures. But one of his comments was just how unappealing. You look at Lumiere in the 91 animated one and you
Yeah.
compare it to
Bruh.
Lumiere. Actually, all three of them, like Mrs. Potts,
Yeah.
Lumiere, and like they're so unappealing
Yeah.
versus like incredibly appealing. Same with you can go in any number of films like
Yeah.
Seven Dwarfs. Let's not go there. But still,
No, it's
um,
true.
but it's just it's interesting artistic choices that I think are horrible.
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you a fan of Rachel's Reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a Patreon. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/hallmarkies.
We have, as far as films, we have the original from
Original from
1991.
1991.
We have the remake. We have Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. We have Belle's Tales of Friendship, which I don't think there's actually any songs. There ended up being any songs from that
Yeah,
one.
there weren't any songs in that, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, at least I don't think I
And
have any in my ranking.
right. And then there's Belle's Beauty and the Beast, Belle's Magical World,
Yeah,
which has 2 songs.
yeah.
So, and the Broadway show.
And yeah, and the Broadway, yeah, the
Yeah.
Broadway production. And those sequels, as you had mentioned earlier, they're like midquels, right? I mean, they both take place. The animated sequels both take place kind of in the middle of the story as we know it from the
Yeah, because they couldn't have it be a sequel because then you wouldn't have the Beast be the
you wouldn't have the
Beast.
Beast, yeah,
So that's the tricky
or
part.
the
And
enchanted objects or anything,
yeah, or the
yeah,
enchanted objects. And so you're supposed to buy that in between the scenes with the wolves and the something there's all of this stuff that happens, which is just really annoying
it's
and
so
terrible.
annoying, and the animation is just
It's-
dreadful. And I feel bad ripping on it because again, I know that these are people that have created this stuff that it's so bad, particularly when
yeah.
you compare it to the original. It's
Oh,
just like,
terrible.
oh, it's
I
just
mean, I think that these songs are like if I just heard these in isolation, I'd be like, that's a perfectly serviceable Christmas song, like sung by a good singer as far as Paige
yeah,
O'Hara. Uh, and I wouldn't really give it that much thought or some of the other actors. But yeah, it's certainly not successful films. That's for sure. And just it just becomes frustrating when Disney doesn't hold itself to the standards that I think Walt would have wanted.
yeah,
He was so careful about not doing sequels to his animated films. He did for his live action. He would have, sequels like the Herbie movies, things like that. But for his animated films, he never did it. He believed in moving forward.
yeah. These animated sequels, I mean, the cheapquels always made me mad, and they still do. Um, and then these remakes just make me furious. So it's just like, well, I
Yeah.
guess Disney is just, they still make me mad, just in different,
Uh,
different
yeah.
ways.
It's not show friends, it's show business, as they say.
That's right. That's right. And
No.
it's almost again, well, yeah, it's I don't know how if these were big money makers, they probably did just fine for them,
Yeah.
but they sure the quality is lousy. I do feel like in a lot of ways the cheapos diminish the brand, you know.
Yeah.
But that
I think so.
that's just
Well, and
me.
especially it was always frustrating when they would sell it as like a collection. Like I remember the last one that I remember
Yes.
seeing was
Horrible.
two classic films, Hunchback of Notre Dame 1
Damn it.
and 2. I'm like,
Oh, and you're like,
are you kidding me
what?
right
And they
now?
did that for Pocahontas too. You're like, what?
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other. Oh, stars. I might share a title and
uh,
characters, but
well,
oh.
so we have 24 songs. What do you have at 24?
I have from Enchanted Christmas, Don't Fall in Love.
Oh, really? Okay. I actually have that a little bit higher just because I think there's a camp factor to me in
Yeah,
that one that I think is a little fun.
and again, I'm probably
Like
just being
Tim Curry.
being a jerk.
It's
I mean, I think it's so cool that they got Tim Curry to do the voice, but I hate that character so much, and I hate how it's animated. I
uh-huh.
think the CGI looks horrible. Although the CGI of that character looks a lot like the CGI of the Magic Mirror and the Snow White piece of crap remake.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of like, maybe anyway, whatever. But
Yeah, no,
I just have it low because I probably should have enjoyed the camp more, but also I just am bitter about the mid, these cheap sequels. I hate them so much.
I have 24. I have Deck the Halls at 24. I didn't really know what to do with this because it's just like a classic carol,
Yeah.
and it is twice in the movie. So I didn't feel like we couldn't, I felt like we had to leave it
Yeah, I
in.
had to leave it in. I've
Um,
got a low too. I have that at 23. So
but to
yeah.
have like Deck the Halls be like the reprise villain song is kind of cringe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
but yeah, so that's what I have at 24. You said you have that at 23?
I have Deck the Halls at 23. Yeah.
Well, I have a both of the Magical World songs at 23 and 22. A
Uh-huh.
Little Thought and Listen with Our Hearts.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've got those two just right above at 22 and 21. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty cringe.
They are awful. Awful. And
Yeah.
again, it's just like, maybe they're serviceable for a little kid who I know is the target audience, but oof.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the animation too. I could hardly stand looking at it.
Yeah, I think the Tales with Belle, I think that's not animated, actually. I don't know. I haven't seen it in long, but I think it's actually like a character, like a Disney World character telling stories.
Oh, you know what?
And and
I think you're right.
the Magical World, they took episodes of a TV show
Yes.
and put it together, which was also a strategy that they had
Yeah.
for
Because
these midquels.
they could make animation,
It's cheap.
yeah, cheap,
Well, I think because
inexpensively and then assemble it. Yeah.
yeah, I think because they had the Disney Afternoon, they had during those years they had those popular shows, television shows, even Aladdin, Little Mermaid, um, had shows, and I think even I'm pretty sure that the Atlantis sequel is also a
It's like
episodes of
this
a TV
episodes of a
show.
TV show. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I don't think that TV show ever happened because the movie was a flop, and so then they
yeah,
just combined them all together.
combined them together and man assembled a movie.
Yeah.
And Rachel, I'm trying to figure this out with myself, and not that you have to be my shrink, or interpreter, but like I don't necessarily have issues with them making a TV series of,
Uh-huh.
with these characters with cruddy animation. I don't know why. It's when they decide to make it into a movie and then like label it as a sequel or something, with like
Yeah.
Roman numeral two or whatever, or number
Yeah.
whatever, that drives me crazy. Whereas like I remember that Little Mermaid show, the animated show. I mean, I didn't never really like it or watch it that much, but for whatever reason, it didn't bug me. I was like, why doesn't that bug me? Whereas these movies just like made me go ballistic. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't get it.
That's a good
Just
question.
my rolls. My rolls.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, they manage to pull something together. I that I enjoy. Like we've talked about Cinderella 3. I like that one.
Yeah.
A few of them are watchable. But I think they just feel cheap. And I guess
Yeah.
maybe it's partly expectations you expect a Disney afternoon, Saturday morning, serial show to be cheap.
Yeah.
So we don't have that expectation. We aren't as disappointed,
Right.
And
Yeah.
maybe
Maybe
that's
that's it.
part of why something like a Goofy movie really stands out too, because it was better than expectations, where a lot of these were worse than expectations.
Yeah. And made with so much care.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
love.
And it seems like some of these other ones are just cranking them out. And that's you bring up a good point because I mean, I'm an old man, but I grew up on Hanna-Barbera cartoons on Saturday morning, which I loved, but I mean that animation is terrible. It's terrible. But still, I don't know, those were fun shows. So anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of times too with these cheap quills, they're just recycling like Little Mermaid 2. They're just
Yeah.
recycling the same story. And even
Mm,
in these Beauty and the Beast ones, it's basically like something there, that whole sequence, which takes up, 5 minutes. It's a montage in that. So they take that and make it into
stretch it out.
2 whole films,
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's part of the problem is like we're learning a lesson that we, at least with Cinderella 3, there's a new story.
Exactly.
There's time travel and wands and
And
new things. There's new ideas.
made with care too,
Yeah.
really. And, they were really, I think, careful with the animation and yeah,
It's not just the story that we know and love retold. Like Hunchback is so atrocious that way. It's the same story, except for without anything that made the original special. And it's so like, it's so syrupy and, anything that had like an edge that was interesting or different or, as flawed as maybe the first film might be, like anything that was interesting about it is just turned into this horrible,
Yeah.
but it's essentially the same story. But And so I think that that's part of the problem too. Is it's just like, why would I watch this mediocre version? It's the same thing with the live action remakes. Why would I watch this mediocre version of what I already have and love?
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you.
It's very frustrating. I mean, the only reason I would say I might pick Enchanted Christmas over the remake is because I just like Christmas music.
At least it's a Christmas.
It's
There's a Christmas theme. Oh,
And I do have some fun with the villain. I think he's kind of campy. I think he's kind of fun, but
well,
I get it. I
appreciate
get
that. And I probably should give that another chance because
it. Oh, I
I
watched
know
it
I'm
not
kind of
that
being
long ago for
kind of
when
being a jerk.
we did our Christmas ranking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So our Disney. You also check that out. We did a Disney animation Christmas ranking, and I hadn't seen it in so long, so I had to. I watched it for that, and then I watched the Pooh one as well because I hadn't seen.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so I have a little thought and listen with our hearts at 23 and 22.
Okay. So then, see, I have at 22 a little thought, and then 21 listen with our hearts.
Okay, yeah, same.
Yeah.
just
Just
so,
yeah, just a little adjustment. Yeah.
yeah. So 21, I have stories.
Okay. Yeah.
This is Belle writing. This is Enchanted Christmas. Belle writing a story as a gift for Beast. I
Yeah.
actually think this is the strongest little bit of animation
Yeah.
in this movie.
And beautifully sung, as we discussed, like by Paige
Yeah.
O'Hara. Yeah.
Because it gets into this kind of a little bit more sketchy. It actually feels like it almost feels like a short in the middle of this mediocre film, where because she's telling this story, and so I think it's a nice animation for the song. And so what do you have at 20?
At 20, I have stories.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
going to be interesting.
I know it's gonna be interesting. As we move up, yeah.
Yeah. So at 20, I have As Long as There's Christmas.
Okay.
And I think this is fun. I mean, I think because you have the objects and Belle singing this song, it's on the end credits, but you also got the Peebo Bryson or Roberta Flack
Yeah, Berta Flack
version, which is kind of fun.
which I love. I love those two singers so much, and it's
Yeah.
a nice recording. And then as we said, Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
I mean, holy
It's
cow!
because she plays like this ornament,
Yeah.
angel ornament that even the the curse even went into the Christmas supplies.
That was deep. There was no. Yeah.
And Tim Curry in this Enchanted Christmas plays a organ that wants to stay. I don't really understand his character. He wants to stay enchanted. He likes it. It's very
I'm
weird.
confused by it too. And then again, they use CGI to do his face, and again, it looks like the magic mirror from
yeah.
But
if I heard this As Long as There's Christmas at like Disney World, I'd be like, oh, what a charming little song.
It's
like,
cute. And it's
fine.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It's Christmassy.
Yeah.
And again, these great singers. I do
like at Disneyland when they have Belle in her Christmas dress.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great costume. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I have it at 18.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what do you have at 19?
So at 19, I have A Cut Above the Rest.
Me too.
Yeah.
So singing, it's kind of fun. Lumiere and Cogsworth singing a song about Christmas.
Again, it's not just awful, but again, you compare it to and then again, anything from these animated things,
because we don't really have a song of the two of them singing together, so it's kind of a fun idea.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's certainly in a flawed product, and I think that's well, no, I was gonna say that's the last of Enchanted, but no, I still have Don't Fall in Love, but yeah, so Cut Above the Rest at 19, we both got it there. But you have it. Oh, you have 18.
I have As Long as There's Christmas.
Okay,
at 18. Yeah,
and I have
great vocalists.
Yeah, I have Maison des Lunes
Yeah,
from
I
the
have that.
Broadway.
Yeah, I have that at 16. So
Okay.
yeah.
I have that at 18, and that's basically it's just like it's just a small little song where Gaston and LeFou are trying to convince the Rock, the asylum guy, to come and be part of their plan.
Yeah.
And so, it's just an in between song.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
exactly it. It's kind of in a way, yeah, it kind of felt like a nothing song in a way. You know what I mean? It's like they just
yeah.
had to put it in for the show.
And we always say with these that we are just I'm picking the most iconic versions of the songs for these song rankings, and not including reprises, except for when we do the Frozen one, we have one, but in general, not including the reprises and things, because you gotta uh, draw a line somewhere.
Right.
So I at 17 is where I have Don't Fall in Love, just because
Okay.
I think there's some camp value to the song. I think it's
Yeah.
a little bit fun, but yeah. What do you have at 17?
So at 17, I have Aria from the
Okay.
remake.
Yeah.
And I have it low. I mean, I felt bad in a way putting it low because I adore Audra McDonald. I mean, hello. She's the
Yes.
queen, right? I love her. But I hate this movie so much. And it just reminds me of just that horrible, just everything about, just everything about
And
it.
the
And it's
fact
probably
that
it's the one I like the least from the
yeah, so I have that at 16. So we're
Oh, okay.
we're basically on the same page.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just like so frustrating because you're just like, why would you start out with this song and her singing and set up that expectation, and then they zoom away to
Yeah.
Emma Watson
Yeah.
auto-tuned. Like, what were they
I
thinking?
know. I
Oh my
know.
gosh.
It was just and that production number I thought was weird with the intro with that too, the big
Yeah. It's like they're
ballroom.
answering questions that like maybe on some YouTube video of like plot holes in Beauty and the Beast, they're there, but nobody cares,
Nobody
like,
cares. Yeah.
and so it's very frustrating to see them like take all that stuff seriously and go, oh, we got to explain why they've been resting for 10 years. Was the beast 10 years old when it all happened?
Yeah.
Why is Chip still a child? Like
We don't care. I'm just gonna watch the original.
suspension of disbelief. Hello.
Yeah, and be happy. Yeah.
And yeah, and then the like the backstory that they gave Gaston made absolutely no sense. Like, he's supposed to be the town hero, everybody's favorite guy, and you make him like a war hero, like, and he's the only one in the remake who helps Maurice. He's the only one who is ostensibly at least on his side. He actually is he's going, he's helping. And so when Maurice says, or when they're talking about him wanting to marry Belle, and Maurice says something to the effect of, I would never allow that, or something. And you're just like, that makes no sense for you to say that right now. He has done nothing but help you. Like, he's the one person in this town who, in this version, for some reason, is actually helping you. Why would you say that? You never would. And so it just baffling. Like, and then the fact that they were actually contemplating doing a Gaston and LeFou series. Oh my gosh. What?
Oh, just perish the thought.
I mean, I love
Really.
Luke Evans. I mean, he's incredible, but just what were they thinking? And today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by Kelsey Whitney and her new book, See La Vie. Kelsey Whitney, author of Sweet Contemporary Beach Reads, is back with the first in a new series, the Outer Banks series. Lainey Adams, a master at people-pleasing, can't remember the last real job she's held. Between filling in at the general store and waiting tables at her brother's diner, she's always adapted to meet everyone else's needs, forgoing her own career. When an unexpected injury leaves her dad's fishing boat without a captain, she bears the weight on her shoulders to save the family business. When she spots a sports car stuck in a ditch, she's intrigued because newcomers are a rarity in this small town. Upon realizing it's Tate, the boy, now man, she hasn't spoken to in 10 years, she's filled with mixed emotions. After all, he's the boy that stole her heart every summer for 12 years, only to leave it broken in the end. Tate Matthews thrives on order and predictability. When he catches his girlfriend cheating on him on the day he was planning to propose, it uproots his plans for his future. Feeling aimless, he returns to his grandfather's seaside cottage in the eccentric town of Widow's Wharf, the town that holds the glistening summers of his youth and the one girl who has always remained at the forefront of those memories. Armed with a plan in place to fix the wear on the family cottage from being a seaside rental over the last decade and a newfound purpose, Tate begins renovations. When he finds a faded letter with a vague message to meet at a lighthouse that no longer exists, his interest is piqued. Will Tate be able to solve the mystery of the letter? Will it be enough to bring Lainey and Tate together again? And most importantly, will Tate be able to help Lainey see her true worth? C'est La Vie is available for purchase through the Crafty Bookstore, Romance Landia Bookstore, and the Porter Company Bookshop, as well as using the Amazon affiliate link below. That's C'est La Vie by Kelsey Whitney. Happy summer reading! It's
Yes.
like, it's there because they're not allowed to have villains. Like, he's just misunderstood. He's not like forcing someone to marry him against their will. Like, he's not wanting to.
I'm just shaking my head here, Rage. I'm just like,
So
I know.
frustrating.
It's so frustrating.
It
And
really
the
is.
stupid backstory that they wrote for the Beast and everything is like,
Yeah. And like,
these abusive parents and all this stuff. Like,
why have Belle's mom have the Black Plague? That makes no sense.
Oh, that was
Like,
so gross, so stupid. It's just
it's
like,
terrible.
are you
It's like,
kidding me?
it's not like the Black Plague is something with some kind of social stigma. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm not saying this was right, but something like in AIDS or something like that, like, had a certain degree at the time of a social stigma, and that people, we want to we want to avoid those bad people or whatever, which that was wrong. But I'm just saying that it's just like everybody in the town would have gotten it, and so the idea that it'd be like, we're going to specifically ostracize you because you have this shady disease, like, it's just ridiculous.
That's bizarre.
I hate it.
And then we have to basically watch her die. It's like, are you kidding me? And then that horrible mask that the doctor has to wear, whatever. Just like, this is just making me sick.
It is painful.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
horrible.
So yeah,
horrible.
I have that at 16. Let's see, where are you at?
So at 17 I have Aria. At 16 I have the Maison de Lunes.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, at 15.
So now it's probably gonna get interesting. Now I think,
yes.
Yeah.
So at 15, I have Days in the Sun.
So do I.
Yeah. And this was just the most depressing song. What were they thinking to have the magical creatures taking ownership of this curse when they were just working there? It's ridiculous. What are they going to do with the prince? It's the prince.
They put the blame on themselves for the bad parenting he was getting.
So we get this depressing song. It's a pretty song, though. I mean, it's like,
it's Alan Menken.
If I just wanted to listen to like a sort of sad, maybe a little bit folksy kind of song, like, it's fine, but I hate it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate it. And
Yes.
I think other than one other one, no, I still have one other remake one. We've got two more remake ones, but one of the remake ones I love, which we'll get to.
But 14, I have How Does a Moment Last Forever.
Okay, see, I have that at 13. Yeah.
So it's fine, but just annoying how it's used, and like the idea that he'd be like socially ostracized from the community because like he's just supposed to be a little bit quirky and a little weird. Instead, they make him like, oh, we don't want to go and hang out with him because his wife had the plague years ago.
It's so weird. And
And then there's
Yeah.
that book. I hate that book
Oh,
so
I hate that
much.
book. Ugh. Well, and and I think the song reprises some of the themes, from the score of the film, the
Yeah,
original film too, which I like, very pleasant, but I'm with you. It's lousy.
terrible.
It's
And
terrible.
I
I
feel
mean,
like the way that they designed the beast in the remake, I feel like not that many people would be that scared. Like
the animated one's a lot
if he
scarier
could
for
go
sure.
all over with that book, I feel like there's not that many people that wouldn't be like, "Hey, I'll do this." You know? I mean, come on.
uh, horrible
Um,
remake.
okay, so yeah, so I've got a 14. What do you have at 14?
So at 14, at 15, I have Days in the Sun. 14, I have No Matter What. Yeah.
Okay,
And
I have
then
that
at
at
30,
13.
and then at 13, I have How Does a Moment Last Forever?
Okay.
Yeah.
13, I have no matter what.
Okay. Yeah. So
It's
yeah.
fine. It's the
Yeah.
most forgettable song in the
It's
Broadway.
the most forgettable song of the I agree. It's
Like a
not
real song,
terrible.
not Miss on the Loons, but
It's not terrible, but it's definitely not very memorable.
yeah.
But it's still better than the mid-cool crap.
Uh so what do you have at 12?
At 12, I have Me from the Broadway show.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think it's
Yeah.
quite fun. Uh,
Yeah.
Catchy, and it's just basically it's a reprise of Gaston, right? I mean,
Yeah, so
just
it's
singing about himself. It's a little
like it's
derivative.
it's nice because he actually gets to sing this song, whereas
Yes.
in Gaston that's sung by LeFou. And so, aside from the mob song, but it's kind of fun to give him one villain song,
Yeah. He's
you
got a
know.
good villain song. I think the lyrics are clever, and I think it's a fun. I
Uh,
remember I'm not sure I ever had to perform it in a recital, but my music teacher had me learn it because she just thought it would be fun. It'd be fun to like kind of learn some acting with it.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
I would
So
love to
it
see
was
that.
fun.
I wish that was on video.
Oh, be grateful it's not. But it's still, but
I'm like
it's a
contacting
fun
your
song.
music teacher. Do you have the recital from so I have at 12, I have Human Again.
Okay, yeah,
Cute, like enough
it's
song.
cute. I think it's cute, and I particularly like how in one of those multiple re-releases they did of the animated Beauty and the Beast, how they animated the Human Again sequence, which I think
Uh-huh.
is really fun. I think
Yeah.
it's a great, what's a waltz, if I'm not mistaken, and I like it. I have it at 10. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the next 11 are it's kind of a bloodbath. I mean, these are
Yeah,
all really I love all these songs, so it's
I do
tough.
too. It's hard. It's just, yeah, this was hard. Ugh.
So where are you at? Where have we got
Okay,
you?
so at 12, I have Me, right? And you told you what's
Okay.
your 12 again?
12 is Human Again.
Okay, that's right. And then at 11, I have Home.
Okay.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
the Broad
that's
from
a
the
great
Broadway
song.
show. It's a
One of the
great song.
best I Want songs because
Yeah.
in the film we don't really get an I Want song for Belle. We get her it's the reprise.
Yeah.
And so I was glad that they added this song, and you'll see I have it very high. Really love
It's a
that
great
song.
song. I kind of
Yeah,
feel bad putting it low, but these other ones I love so much too that
yeah.
are, well, and I think Susan Egan
Choice.
from the Broadway original Broadway cast recording is so good.
Yeah.
I love,
This way,
yeah, it's
you
gorgeous.
monster. Yeah, that one, I think it's maybe to the chagrin of all community theater directors for the end of time, because that I think it's like it's got to be up there in your audition songs.
Yeah.
People gonna they
It's true, but
hammer
it's
this
so
out.
good, right?
Yeah. You monster, if you think that what you've done is right, well then. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I have something there at 11.
Okay.
This was tough, but I just it's they're getting to know each other and it's cute, and and it certainly does the job of what we needed that scene. But this is where I had it.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a little higher, but I hear what you're saying.
What do you have at 11?
At 11, I have home. Yeah,
Oh, that's right. You said
and
that.
then at 10, I have human again.
Okay. So I have Change in Me at 10.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you had reminded me of this song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I I know I've seen the show more than once, but saw Beauty and the Beast in 1998 on Broadway, and it was starring Toni Braxton, which was a real stunt casting, but still, I was really taken with it because I was just a big fan of her, R&B music. That I had at least one of her albums at the time. Maybe it was the only one that she had put out at the time, but she has this really low, sultry voice. And it's like the farthest thing away from a Broadway, Broadway uh, voice. But they rekeyed the show for her. So it was all, I don't know how many, what key they had to put it in, but all the music was just a little lower in key to match her vocal range. And
Uh-huh.
she was not a good actress, but I loved it. It was just
Yeah.
fun to see it differently. And Alan Menken wrote the song for her, Changing Me. And then I guess, as you said, it's been added now. It wasn't in the original Broadway cast recording because, I don't know how long the show had been running before they brought in Toni Braxton,
Yeah,
to do her run.
I didn't have it on the list because I was going off of the original
Well,
Broadway
and I had
cast
forgotten about
recording.
it until all of a
So
sudden
I
they
was
hit me like, oh my gosh, I gotta tell this about Rachel about
I
this.
was glad that you mentioned it because it
Yeah.
is a beautiful song.
And
And
that I found, that recording on YouTube of her, because I don't think she made a recording of it, or they have a released, professional recording of it. So it was from when she was on the Rosie O'Donnell show. Somebody had, like from a VHS, put it on YouTube, and I'm glad it's there.
yeah.
It was wonderful to hear her sing it again. It
Well,
just
it's
brought back a
nice
lot of
because
happy memories.
like we said, there isn't really an I Want song. There's just the Bell reprise in the original film. So especially for Broadway, you're gonna want an I Want song, from and so they got home, but then they also have this song as well at the
Yeah,
end, towards the end.
yeah.
So yeah. That's amazing that you haven't. I've seen it 5 times in the
Oh,
last few
see.
years.
No, that's wonderful.
But I'm
I
glad because I've seen The Little Mermaid 5 times, and I would way rather see Beauty and the Beast 5 times
Yeah,
than Little Mermaid.
it's such a better stage adaptation, isn't it? Yeah,
Way better, way
yeah,
better.
yeah. And
So let's see here. What do you have at 10?
so 10, Human Again, and then 9, Changing Me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. 9 is where I have Me.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
fun. That's
funny.
such a
It makes me
fun.
laugh,
I like that song a lot.
and I like the melody.
I do
Mhm.
too. I just think it's
Mhm.
super catchy
Yeah,
and
you've been saying whatever it is. Like it's a
yeah.
fun song. So
It's so great. It's like I get why my voice teacher wanted me to sing it, because it's just it's a great song. Plus just the fun words and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
way to express it.
What do you have next?
So at 8, I have If I Can't Love Her. I actually have the two. I have Evermore at 7, and If I Can't Love Her at 8. The two great add-ins for the Beast. One from Broadway, one from the remake. It's the
Yeah,
only thing really that I liked about the remake was the song Evermore.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
And I love If I Can't Love Her. I think it's the perfect way to end Act One, of
Yep,
the stage show.
I agree.
And it really moves me. In fact, my voice teacher had me learn both of those songs too. And they're both, I love them. I mean, they're both, I think they're just brilliant,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I agree. I absolutely beautiful songs, and it was, of course, they were going to have them do Evermore and in that concert with Josh Groban because otherwise he wouldn't have any songs.
Yeah.
And why would you have Josh Groban?
Right.
Because there's no songs for the Beast.
No songs for the Beast. Yeah, it's the little
So
bar and there's something there and something there, but that's about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's this.
But it's short.
Yeah, just 2 lines, I think.
Yeah.
So I have At 8, I have the mob song.
Okay.
And this, I mean, it's a great song, and you get that great line. He's no monster, Gaston. You
You
are. That's a
are.
really good. And but the animation is some of the best ever.
Oh,
It might be the highlight animation wise of the entire
it's
film.
such a knockout. I agree.
Yeah.
I think the living, I mean, all the lyrics are fantastic because hello, Howard Ashman, right? But
Yeah.
I have the mob song at number 6 just because I love the lyrics so
Yeah, it's
much.
so good.
And
Come
50
after all
Frenchmen
your
can't be wrong.
children with his monstrous appetites. It's time to take some action, boys. It's time to follow me. He's a
Mm,
beast. He's got fangs, but he's a sharp ones.
yeah,
Yeah, really good.
really, really good. Yeah, love it, love it.
So what do you have next?
So again, Evermore. So if I can't love her at 8, Evermore at 7, the two B songs I put there,
Okay.
and from the other projects, and then 6 I have the mob song.
Mm.
Yeah,
7, I have Belle, our opening
yeah.
number. Yeah, which is, I mean, iconic. And
Well,
it's interesting because I never really thought about it before, but when the remake came out, a friend was like, she's kind of a snob. She's sort of judging everybody, and she's looking, and I'm like, you're not wrong. Like,
it's true, but it's interesting because in the animated one, she comes across as just kind of like lonely and
like all these
misunderstood.
peasants, like
Yeah, but yeah,
the
but
poor
yeah,
provincial town.
she's like much better. Yeah, how that's interesting how that's really kind of changed the interpretation of who Belle is, right?
But I think that when especially when you're a teenager, who can't relate to that feeling of being like nobody gets it? I'm like, you're alone, and I
And
just
I
think the
want much more
people,
than this provincial life, you
yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
We need the eggs. That's too expensive. That's
Yeah.
like been the theme song of the last 2 years.
That's true.
Well, I have Gaston at 6.
Okay. Yeah. So good.
It's so good, so funny, hilarious. Every last inch of me's covered with hair.
Oh, my stars. That song is so funny.
And it's
So
great in
funny.
the Broadway musical.
It is.
It's really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Funny, clever, great dance number in the Broadway musical, and then just great, great, great in the animated. Yeah. So funny.
Yeah. So, what do you have at 5?
5, I have something there. I really love something there.
Yeah.
I mean, I love just the song itself, but I think the orchestration is particularly good
It is.
in it. Um, yeah. So
I wonder why I didn't see it there before.
yeah,
Yeah, really, it's really good.
good
Uh,
stuff.
so I have at 5, I have Evermore.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evermore
Beautiful.
fans here. It's so good. The only good thing to come out of that piece of crap.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It really is. So at 4, I have, this might be a bit of a hot take. I have Beauty and the Beast at 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think these are hard, Rachel, and again,
Yeah.
it just comes down to personal taste. It's not a hot take at all with me. I get it.
And of course you've got like you got People Bryson, Celine
Oh,
Dion.
see, That's such a lovely pop version too.
Mhm.
I mean, I love both. I love Angela Lansbury's interpretation and then the pop version I just adore.
And were you in the choir when they had Angela Lansbury?
No, that was before my
Were
time.
you?
Sadly, I would have
That was
loved
one of the
that.
because I didn't get to go to very many of their concerts. I just never got the lottery. I hardly ever could go. Um, but I did go to that one, and she sang Beauty and the Beast, of
And
course.
Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she talked about how after voicing Mrs. Potts, she felt like she was kind of the the voice to she like children knew her voice and responded to her voice, and she was sort of a comforting present to children, and they would hear her voice and oh,
Yeah.
something good to those effect. And then that's when in the concert she sang "Not While I'm Around,"
Oh, see,
from
that's
Sweeney
right. I
Todd.
remember again, I saw the video of that concert. That's right. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and that was her
lovely
like reaching out to children,
to be,
especially
yeah.
after 9/11 and everything.
9/11. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was neat.
Oh,
I
that's
always feel lucky that
wonderful.
I got to see her
Oh,
sing
seriously, you get to perform
one
that?
time. Yeah. So then what do you have it for?
At 4, I had Be Our Guest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I
So
love.
good. I love
It's,
it
I
so
mean,
much.
what's that song? All I do is I just smile, I just grin from ear to ear. It's such a delight. Just the song itself is so much fun. And then Jerry Orbach's performance
Yeah.
of it is brilliant. The animation is just dazzling and so much
Yeah.
fun. It's such an homage to Busby Berkeley musicals and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's just
Bifazoo, petit souffle, pioneer on flambe.
yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, you'll see where I have it. It's really good. It'd be up there in some of my just favorite Disney songs of
Oh,
all time.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like I
It's
said,
just
we should do that. We will do
yes,
that after
we're
we
gonna do
finish
that,
these.
aren't we?
I
Yeah.
think that would
I
be fun.
mean, that'll be a blast. And hard. It's kind of hard.
Uh-huh. Really hard.
It'll be a fun
Yeah.
challenge. Yeah.
So I have If I Can't Love Her at 3.
Oh, nice.
I think
Okay.
maybe because of the nostalgia, and it's such a beautiful song. There's such a yearning,
Hmm.
and I love it. I think it's beautiful. So, what do you have at 3?
I think I've guessed on
Uh, yeah, good
just
choice.
because it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so absolutely charming and
It's
just
super. I mean, Gaston, he could have just married one of the triplets and been happy for his entire life.
No. The triplets.
Could have married all the triplets. It's just gone
Exactly.
crazy.
Just gone crazy. You know, there's just I think it's well, again, you posed such a good question at the beginning of our discussion, Rachel, just about why Beauty and the Beast was so special. And I think part of it too is just that it's so supremely clever. Again, it's going to appeal to any person
Yeah.
of any age. But as an adult, I mean, it's so funny to have the song sung about this complete awful man, you know.
Well, and he's everyone's favorite guy, and
And then
really,
he's everybody's favorite guy.
it's
Yeah.
about the town hero
Yeah.
that descends because one person not liking him, and it kind of reminds me of there's a great episode of Frasier, one of my favorite episodes of that show, where he ends up listening in on this focus group giving feedback on the shows, and everybody's really positive, everyone likes the show except for this one guy, and he's like, no, I think he's a snob, I don't like the show, blah blah blah, it goes on. And
It just
he is
unravels him, right? Doesn't it
yeah,
just
he can't deal with it. And so he like stalks this guy and he's like following him around, and he ends up like it's a disaster. It's really funny.
I think
And
I've seen that episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that sometimes that can happen where you can let somebody not liking you really get at you and really
Yeah.
pick at you.
Yeah.
And then so I think that's kind of what happens. Obviously, he has like huge hubris and greed,
Right.
but still.
Well, I just the whole thing, I mean, I learned the word expectorating from from the song.
And
Since
it's
Gaston is especially good, he's
expectorating.
especially good
Chewy.
at
Yeah.
it. And then the whole he uses the antlers and all this decorating. I mean, it's just I don't know. The whole thing.
I've
It's
only, I've never been since I was a little girl. I haven't been to Disney World, but I would like to go both for Be Our Guest,
and
that
Gaston's
whole,
Tavern is so
and then
fun.
Gaston's Tavern. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that would be fun
it's fun.
to
Yeah.
see.
And I just love it too because they play the music from the score, from the original film score, just kind of on a nonstop loop. I just remember like the first time I went there, I just kind of sat in Gaston's Tower for a half hour and just listened to the music, had my treat and my little
Yeah.
snack and just eating up the decor and the and the music.
Yeah, that would be so
Yeah,
fun. I
it's fun.
also would love to go to Tokyo Disney and go on that Disney
Oh my
Beauty and the
gosh,
Beast
that
ride.
Beauty and the Beast ride looks amazing.
Ugh.
I know. I'm all over that too, Rach. I
I mean, I'd
really,
love to go to Tokyo Disney, period, because
it's just
they still have an original Splash Mountain there. They're the only one, I believe.
and the original Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And they because it's owned by and operated by or in conjunction with a whole different company.
yeah. The
That's
Oriental Land Company.
yes.
Yeah.
So I would love to go to that one someday, one day. But
And I want to
yeah,
go on that Beauty and the Beast ride.
it
Look,
looks
look,
amazing.
look for it on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful listeners, because it just looks absolutely remarkable. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually have Home at two.
Oh,
It's
nice.
so iconic to
Okay.
me. Such a great song. Like I
It's
said,
it's a great choice. Yeah.
but I
Such a good
don't
song.
deserve to lose my freedom in this way. It's like the ultimate belt song in my opinion. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so
It's so
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And so yeah, I have it at two. And I think it also just that nostalgia of seeing it seeing it on Broadway with my
Yeah.
grandma
With your grandma
and
and
my
cousin.
cousin, and then seeing it so many other times that I've seen. I mean, I've seen it way more than five times, but that's just in recent years that I've seen it five times. But I really do love that musical. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But what do you have it to?
At two, I have Belle. Because again,
Oh, okay, yeah.
again, it just wowed me from the very first time I saw it.
It's such a great introduction.
It was pointed out to me, and I really think it makes sense. I like opera, and this actually the Belle song in a lot of ways is like kind of the opening act of an opera too. Given that they're introducing all the different characters, of course, it's all done musically. Um, anyway, it's very in a lot of ways. I feel like it's operatic storytelling.
Well, and it's
Uh,
classic musical theater. If you think of something like Fiddler on the Roof,
yeah,
you know
exactly.
what do we get? The very first song in Fiddler on the Roof is Tradition,
Tradition.
with him walking through the town. Here's the beggar, here's
Yep.
all these different characters.
Yeah, setting up the family relationships and
Yeah.
yeah,
The Yenta, the
yeah,
matchmaker,
yep.
all that. So, it's kind of classic in that way. So,
And I I mean I love it all, but I love Belle in the bookshop. I love Belle sitting on the
mm,
fountain as the goat is eating her book, but she's, saying, "Oh, isn't this amazing?"
yeah.
Anyway, I
Isn't
just
this amazing?
yeah.
It's my favorite part because, yeah,
Yep.
really good. Mhm.
Great
Eh,
stuff.
So I have Be Our Guest as number one.
Okay, awesome. See, and I have Beauty and the Beast. Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard though, because
So
they're
good.
all so good. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like win-win-win. They're all so good.
I've often said though, I feel like in general during the Renaissance, I would have usually gone with the more upbeat song over the ballad. They're all beautiful and great, but like I would have go with as far as the Oscar, I would go with Friend Like Me over spoiler to our Aladdin ranking when we do that, but over A Whole New World.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really like I think it's unique that Under the Sea won for for that movie. But I just a lot of times I like there's this my favorite is the more bubbly song,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they're all great. So, but yeah, Be Our Guest is just so much fun.
Agreed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Agreed. And I
And
just think Beauty and the Beast is so lovely again.
yeah.
I love both versions. I love the Angela
It,
Lansbury song,
yeah. And it's
the
such like a tribute to storytelling,
yeah, yeah.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. So very good. That is our 24 ranking. And I did ask on Twitter
Yes.
what people thought.
What do your
Hello,
wonderful listeners
where
have to
are you?
say about this?
Alison Lewis, she says, Human Again for worst. It's one they cut from the OG for a reason. And the best, I'm having a hard time choosing because every time I think I remember another gem. It's not fair when you have uh, Tale as Old as Time, Be Our Guest, something there. She's using abbreviations. Something there and Belle in the same film. The classic Tale as Old as Time, so Beauty and the Beast. Also, I like Evermore.
Okay.
Paul Klein, Don't Fall in Love is vastly underrated, I think. So you might have a bone to pick with you, Stanbury.
Clearly, I'm the one who's not seeing this in the way it should be. With all my hate, as my black
Put in the
heart.
comments. So DigiKate, she says, I could see any song from the original film being the best, but I think Beauty and the Beast is one of Disney's best love songs. Agreed. We all agree for sure. Worst, probably cut above the rest from Enchanted Christmas or Days in the Sun from the remake. Nostalgia Cast, Darren says the OG Disney is one of my faves, so that one's obviously untouchable, but I would gladly take any of the Midquels over the live action atrocity. There. Gavin
Yeah.
Evans says Belle reprise, just so much emotion in such a short song. Maybe we should have included that. I don't know if I was going to include the Belle reprise, I probably would have it at. I would probably have it at 8
Okay.
if I had Belle reprise.
Yeah.
I would have it after Belle, but before the mop song, I think.
Okay.
But I don't know. Okay. So then Christina, she says the best is Something There, and the worst is Days in the Sun. Some of my favorite songs in the franchise are from the Broadway adaptation, If I Can't Love Her, Home, and Me. So way to go. Yay. There we go. Let us know what you think, how you would rank these. And I'll try to do a Spotify list like we did with the other ones. So if you want to listen to some of these more obscure ones, then you can do that. And this was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. This was such a blast. Thanks for including me. I loved it.
And how can people follow you?
I have a movie podcast. It's Movies Past and Present. You can find me at moviespastandpresent.com. I'm also at Instagram or on Instagram. My handle is at moviespap as in past and present. You can find my podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Movies Past and Present.
And make sure you check out our playlist with all of our episodes of Talking Disney. And we have on Twitter, we are at Disney Talking, and you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place. And check out our Patreon group. That's the biggest way you can support everything that we're doing. You get to be part of watch alongs, and you get to be part of bonus episodes. And it's just try to make it as worthwhile as I can. So check that out. And then we have our merch store where we have animation, #animation junkie, and I'm an animation girl shirts. So check that out. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We are getting closer and closer to 5K of the channel. So we want to get there. So please subscribe. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.